Lynn here. How is everyone doing? So I hope everyone is doing alright in the midst of this weather and hard times. So recently I watched Weathering with You or Tenki no Ko with my family. So if you haven't watched the movie at all, I suggest you watch it first before watching this at hand. This video will contain spoilers. And so did Hodaka replace Hina as the new sacrifice just to save her? 始めましょう。
決定的に変えてしまったんだ。
So as we can see in the start of the film, we see Hina in the hospital. So she wants to spend her last moments with her mother with a sunny weather. So she goes to that top of the building where the sunshine was reflecting, and there she sees a torii gate, which I may add a symbolic gateway marking the entrance to like sacred precinct in Shinto shrines in Japan. So you can notice as she passes through the torii, she is praying for the sunny weather. And then when she opens her eyes, she is already floating in the sky, looking at a field of clouds, or sky garden, I would call. Now, if you're wondering, how is this relevant at all? I'll tell you why. So, going through the torii gate was the main reason why Hina first became the Sunshine Girl. By becoming the Sunshine Girl, Hina was able to control the weather and etc. Given throughout the movie. It was also mentioned in the film that Hina became connected to the sky. And there are a couple of details that proves Hina's feelings and emotions being connected to the weather and the sky. Also, I do apologize if I pronounce Hodaka or mispronounce Hodaka's name. I'm kind of bad with names, but one instance is when she, Nagi, and Hodaka had to run away. You can notice that the rain was more intense than ever, even with the temperature dropping as well. The newscaster even said that this might be the hardest one ever, and it was summer. So she was probably feeling a lot of anxiety and depression as she loses her home, and probably also there's a chance that she would lose her brother as well. So she's really scared, and the rain is just more intense than ever. It's being patterned out. Now, you can notice in the next few scenes that they're just trying to survive to the point of tiredness. There's a scene where Hina and Nagi were resting, and the weather was suddenly just like a calm snow. The weather portrays more of like a hopelessness vibe, because it wasn't just like an ordinary snow day where people would usually be happy, but more so it portrays like loneliness. The movie is just like giving us a sad vibe where they're just like trying to get through it. And then lastly, when Hodaka was almost arrested, we can see Hina being agitated. Of course, your best friend is about to get thrown off in jail or juvenile. We can clearly see that Hina was able to control the weather because of what she was feeling. She was able to produce a lightning by just praying for it, so that's actually powerful. And now, obviously, she's connected to the sky. It was actually mentioned several times too that Hina is connected to the weather. Now, all of these will make sense later, I promise. Here is where my dad and brother noticed a small detail which led to our first premise. First premise. Hodaka also entered the gate, the torii gate. Now, how did Hina become the Sunshine Girl in the first place? She entered the torii gate. If we look at the scene where Hodaka entered the shrine, we would see a scene that is also just as similar to as when Hina entered the torii gate. Hodoka entered the Torii Gate too while praying, as well as Hina did. From teleporting to the sky and then seeing the weather dragon thingy, to floating with the fish rain droplets and then seeing the sky garden, all of these experiences are what Hina also experienced when she first became the Sunshine Girl. She also didn't stay in the sky garden as she fell though. And the fact that Hodoka was the last one to enter the Torii Gate, of course it would make sense that Hina wasn't the human sacrifice anymore. So together they fell, which I might add would be one of the most beautiful scenes ever. And it came back to the Torii Gate, just like how Hina also came back as she fell from the sky and woke up in the Torii Gate when she first became the Sunshine Girl. The problem is, Hodoka didn't stay in the Sky Garden, which is why there wasn't any more human sacrifice. Both of them fell and woke up in the Torii Gate, so the weather just came back, the harsh weather just came back. And actually, if you notice, Hina's choker necklace, the one from her mother in the first few scenes in the hospital, actually broke. So I think this also signifies that she is free. Now moving on to the second premise. During the interview with the old man, I understand that to become a Sunshine Girl or Weather Maiden, you needed to be female because of the pronouns used. The old man did say that the Weather Maiden saw the dragon first. So as Hodoka entered the shrine, he also saw the dragon. Now, what if people in the olden days only assumed gender? Even now actually, but it would make sense because it was mostly females who did the rituals anyway. However, the key word that we found that was very important was human sacrifice. Now, they could have stated they needed like a female sacrifice to be specific. However, they just said human sacrifice, which led us to think that what if men could also be the Sunshine Girls or Weather Maidens? I honestly don't believe that the sky would be choosing the gender of a human sacrifice. I mean, a human sacrifice is a human sacrifice. I don't think they will be choosy. And the fact that they added the detail of like comparing the Weather Maiden as a shaman, and the old man agreed, shamans can be male. So this just fits well. I do believe human sacrifices could be male since that's all that's needed through the centuries was a human sacrifice. Now moving on to the third premise. This might be a small detail, but it is a very, very important one. In the scene where Hodoka entered the Torii, we can see Hina was lying down in the Sky Garden, and she clearly had like the transparent skin. Now the fact that Hodoka had become the new human sacrifice, we can see a bit of a symbolism there. You can see how the transparent skin slowly disappears as soon as Hodoka calls Hina's name. All those fish droplets rotating around Hina disappeared, but Hodoka still had some of those fish rain droplets on him, and he was also floating. So I guess this signifies that Hina wasn't the Sunshine Girl anymore, as Hodoka was the new human sacrifice. Like, it just restarted. And now, for our last premise, the ending was very beautiful. You can see their touching reunion. However, as the scene finally ended, my father actually said, "Oh shit, he's the new human sacrifice." We were all shocked and dumbfolded. We were like, my brother and I was like, nah, wait. And then my brother and I had to rewatch the reunion again, but there are some major details that we actually caught. we can see that the water details are clearly different on Hina and Hodoka. I mean, look at Hina's water droplets. And then look at Hodoka's tears. Hodoka's tears had a similar texture pattern or design on how the fish rain looked like. I mean, just look at the difference. Hodoka had blue tears and Hina had gray tears. There's clearly difference in, inconsistency in the design there. Also, Hina was clearly and obviously praying before Hodoka came. Now, why wasn't there any sunshine yet? Most of her sunshines usually appear quicker than most. But you can clearly see Hina was probably just testing something. She probably wanted to see if she's still the sunshine girl. Now, look at this scene. The sky seemed pretty dark, but as Hodoka called Hina, there was just like a gush of wind that was probably symbolizing Hodoka's excitement, as well as a ray of sunshine, I might add. Now, remember when Hina first showed Hodoka her powers? Yes, Hodoka too felt a gush of wind as well as the sunshine when Hina first showed her powers herself. When Hodoka came and grabbed Hina's hand with a feeling of happiness, there it is, the sunshine appears. Remember with what I said how the sky is connected to the human sacrifice feelings or emotions? Well, here it is. Hodoka clearly mentioned that it has been raining for 3 years non-stop. But why did the sunshine only appear at a crucial moment when they met? Because he was happy. He was happy that he finally met Hina once again. Hodoka is the new human sacrifice. To summarize shortly why he entered the Torii Gate and experienced the same things as Hina did, it wasn't mentioned anywhere that they needed a female sacrifice clearly, and then all those small details like the transparent skin disappearing, the fish rain detail, the sunshine appearing, as Hodoka was happy. Bonus theory! So, we all know that Weathering With You is a movie about the sky. And Your Name is a movie that happened on Earth. Now, going back to a specific scene, we see 3 portraits. One portrait in the middle, we can see that the Weather Maiden is with a dragon. So that's symbolizing this whole movie, Weathering With You. And then on the right side portrait, now do you recognize what she's wearing? It's similar as to what Misoha on the movie Your Name was dancing during her dance rituals. You can even see the 2 bottles below the portrait, symbolizing the 2 sake bottles that Mitsuha and her sister made. It's kind of weird on how the camera zoomed in the 2 portraits but failed to zoom in on the 3rd portrait. Now, could this portrait be an Easter egg to Makoto Shinkai's 3rd movie? On the 3rd portrait, left side, the picture depicts a scenario related to the sea. Now, since Tokyo is getting flooded anyways, it would definitely make sense if the future 3rd movie would be about underwater, as the picture shows a lady near the sea. To also add, Taki's grandmother also mentions that Tokyo was originally underwater. How coincidental. Oh, also the reason why we could definitely say that the 3rd movie could be a crossover is because the fact that Taki and Mitsuha exist in this timeline. Therefore, we're pretty sure that the 3rd movie is gonna be related somehow. And if there's gonna be a 3rd movie. So there you go, guys. I honestly hope you enjoyed our theories and videos. Please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. It would help me big time. Also, comment down below what your thoughts are. Do you think Kadoka could be the new human sacrifice? Do you think Hina is still a human sacrifice? Or what about Makoto's next movie? Would it also be related? Mysteries. Let me know. It would be interesting to see other theories as well. Thank you so much for watching. ありがとうございます。さよなら。